Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Gemini, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So your old friend, at this point, I'm sure you guys are fully acquainted with the Tower card. It seems to be hugging you guys somewhat. But you got the Tower card. Big realizations this week. It's also likely to be a week where you are changing direction on something. And I've got to be honest with you, Gemini, I feel like for a select few of you, this may be something that you've got sort of like really far into. So let's say, I don't know, maybe you decided to start a project, you got like 3/4 of the way in and you decide, actually, you know what, no, this is just it's not the right move, it's not going to go ahead now, or actually I want to go in a completely different direction, or the path that you were treading for it is just no longer viable or open to you. When it comes to, for those of you that are continued subbies, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the 7 of Pentacles. So when it comes to your investments, your finances, your money and your resources this week, just be mindful, right? The other thing is as well, the Tower card represents, so the Tower card is number 16. 1 and 6 gives you 7. You've also got the 7 of Pentacles here as well. That's 2 sevens. 2 sevens represents news, right? Pay attention to what's happening on the wider world stage, especially if you have investments, especially if you've got money in cryptocurrency or anything like that. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you that kind of advice, but what I can tell you is there is some volatility here. And because we're talking about your sign and the 7 of Pentacles comes up in your actions and options, this is a week where you're having to really look at what fingers do you have, what pies do you have your fingers in? And more importantly, if those things start to get rocky at any point, how is it going to affect your finances personally? The other thing here as well, it looks like some of the longer term plans that some of you have, they're changing this week, right? So maybe you have always, just as an example, you've always planned, when I get to a certain age, I'm going to buy a house in the south of France. This week, something could come up and you could end up saying to yourself, that's not it. That's not the final plan that I have. Something about a long-term goal or a long-term plan that and I said this even with the Tower card, I feel like it's going to be something that you've put a lot of time into already is just no longer a possibility or viable any longer. For your communications and conversations, you got the 10 of Pentacles. So there's a lot of conversations about money. There's a lot of conversations about your living situation this week as well. For some of you, this could literally be talking about a move, a spontaneous move that comes up as well. I'll get into that in just a moment. For those of you that are studying, those of you that are in the academic world, this 10 of Pentacles, this is going to see you looking at or looking into either your family, your familial ties, or your sort of closest network for not even just inspiration, but I kind of feel like this would be, maybe if you have siblings and they've gone to university or they've done a similar course to you, this could be you hitting them up and saying, look, this is what I want to do, or this is what I'm studying, or this is what I'm researching, this is what I'm, choosing to do for my next project. It's like you're roping in your familial ties in order to help you with your studies. This could be great, right? It could be really great because you could find some vintage, baby, in some way, shape or form, and that could be quite relevant for you. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, it does look like a select few of you are going to be working from home more so this week if you don't already. It might be as well, even as a lot of the world now starts to open up, You might be having conversations this week about doing more work from home or making more time to do so. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, people that work for themselves, I mean, I really like this because it could be a spontaneous boost to your finances or to the business. It could also be as well some new form of technology that you take on board for the business that revolutionizes things and makes them grow and expand exponentially. I gotta say though, with this combination, because it can be quite volatile, just because it's the Tower, right? This could be one of those times where the demand outstrips the supply that you have. And for that reason, this could be very, very busy week for you. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, I kind of feel like, I don't advise anybody to do this, but there's something about this combination I look at and I'm like, I can almost hear some of the retired Geminis like, fuck it. I'm cashing in my savings, I'm pulling out my pension, and I'm going to go and, I don't know, go on a cruise for the next 4 months. I don't know, I just kind of get this feeling that a lot of you sort of retired or not working Geminis, there's a little bit of a recklessness here. And you guys are prone to a bit of spontaneity as it is. So, you know, try to temper that with some of the facts, you know, because yours is the sign you like facts as well, all right? You love a good gossip as well, but, you know, for the most part, you deal with the facts. For your love and relations, you've got the Nine of Swords. For those of you that are single, if I'm completely honest with you, love looks at love, you know, when I say love, romantic connections could be a bit more hassle than they're worth this week, right? And so for that reason, I would say if you're single, this is a week to stay single. If you're partnered, this could be a week where maybe your partner says, I don't like it here anymore, I want to leave. It could be where you say this to a partner, I don't like where we live anymore, I want to leave. There's a disruption to the home, possibly to the environment that you live in this week, that could see, you know, maybe not you and your partner at odds with each other, but there's a lot of considerations about where you live this week. And I kind of feel like it might be the sticking point, the bugbear. It might be the thing that causes a little bit of friction this week, because it's like one of you is like, well, you know, and I feel like maybe for some of you it's because you've just moved, right? And now to suddenly have your partner say, well, you know, I don't like it here now, I want to go somewhere else. It's like, well, we've just moved, so, you know, what's going to be the difference if we move again? You won't know until you know. And I've got to be honest with that Tower card and this Seven of Pentacles. On the economic level, it may not make sense to do this right now. In the longer term, it may be better to do it sooner rather than later. And I know that's a really convoluted message, but that's how it's coming through. You're going to have to pick it apart, right, for your unique situation. For your money and materials, you've got the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands has been very active for money this week in different decks. So I'm intrigued to see what's going to be happening on the wider world stage. This could be an increase of spending. It could be an increase of expenditure. I often pay attention to what happens in the Gemini reading because yours is the sign of the media and the news. And so it tends to be that what happens in Aries or Gemini tends to echo what happens on the wider world stage. Just something that I've observed over my career so far. That being said, you've got the Ace of Wands right underneath the Ten of Pentacles. This could be a week for some big money conversations. Certainly, you know, and if that's not the case for all of you, then it could be conversations that have, you know, further reaching ripples for, you know, finances or for your financial future. When it comes to your sort of immediate finances, it looks like you're spending money on things that you enjoy. For a lot of you, for those of you that own homes anyway, it looks like this could be the week where you decide to start working on the home to get it ready to sell. For your physical health and vitality, this is one of my favorite cards for health and vitality because it's just pure unbridled energy. This is a lot of fun. This Ace of Wands coupled with the Tower card this is not like, enjoy yourself, have fun, do all the things that you like to do, but this is not a week for things like extreme sports or anything that's a bit too risky with the physical body, because you could sort of, and I say this in the best way, but you could kind of overestimate your ability. It's like, I can do a backflip on the ice, no problem. What you could also do is really, really hurt yourself. So maybe don't try, all right? Be adventurous, but adventurous to a point of where it's not dangerous, all right? When it comes to your home and environment, I feel like for a lot of you, something in the home is changing. For those of you that are hoping to have children or to conceive, or those of you that are in relationships and not looking to conceive, this is a fertile week. Watch out. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.